Hey everybody, Josh Runquist here for another edition of Out Today and What I Missed, this time for August 30th, 2024. This week we have 5 brand new albums out today and 6 I've missed along the way, so no more dilly-dally. Let's get into it. First is Emiensis with Reclamation Part 2, and this is technically the second half of a double album, so going forward I will be considering Reclamation to just be one album. Hint hint, nudge nudge for the top 100 albums. But in the second half of this album, you hear so much of what you enjoyed about Part 1. Their progressive and atmospheric black metal side, really, but easily. This is a darker side of the band on this particular side of the album. It hits more into the black metal areas. It is much closer to the early days stuff that they used to do, but it still fits so perfectly with what they're doing now. And wouldn't you know it, Lars from Borknagar even lends his vocals on a track, really making this part of the album stand out so much more. If you love post-black, if you love progressive black, if you love atmospheric black metal, and all of that combined, Emiensis is not only one of the best bands to come out of Minnesota, but one of the best black metal bands in 2024. Check it out. Next, we have Ancients with their return album, Beyond the Reach of the Sun. Now, it's been 8 years since the band has put out their previous album, and the band has gone through a bit of a change musically. While they still have all those hints of bands like Opeth and Enslaved, and even a band like Burst, you start to hear more of the sludgy side of this band coming through. Much more of, say, Alice in Chains or Mastodon is really coming through on here, mixed in with the more extreme sides, and it feels like a perfect match. The dynamics on this album is absolutely insane. Whether you're looking for something a little bit more mainstream or a little more extreme, it's all here in strides. And it still sounds like Ancients. It's great to see the band back, and arguably, they're at their strongest form to date. Up next is the band Elend with an album title I'm so sorry I'm gonna butcher, Tabringren. This is the 5th album from this Austrian black gaze band, and it's everything that I love about the genre. It is the post-black, it is the black gaze, it is the atmospheric black metal, but with one key exception. It has excellent production. I am so used to hearing albums come out in this genre that sounds like it was recorded on Fisher-Price recording material back in the early 90s. This is not that album. Somehow they can still get that dark mystique feel, making it feel very dark, very cold, but with such a gripping and emotional side to them, filled with excellent production, making you really care so much more about an album like this. It's seriously one of the best in the black gaze genre that I've heard in 2024, and if that has been your problem for not checking out the genre because of the production, give this one a shot. It is easily one of the best albums in the genre in 2024. Up next is the band Nails with their return album, Every Bridge Burning. Another band that has taken 8 years to come back, but they also have a new lineup and unleash some of their best work to date. Of course, Nails isn't without their controversy, but it seems like in 2024, they have their stuff together this time, which I truly appreciate. And with that, they have made some of their most humbling music that they've made in their discography. At only 18 minutes, they hit everything that you're looking for when it comes to grindcore, power violence, hardcore, and more. It's everything you love about the band, but just a little bit more anger and a little more refined. And at only 18 minutes, you're doing yourself a disservice by at least not checking it out. You have worse ways to spend a little under 20 minutes. If you're looking for something that is so good in the grindcore territory in 2024, give Nails a shot. Up next is, Winter Sun with Time 2. And what can I say here? Do I go into the controversy? Do I go into what's been happening over the past 12 years? No. I do believe that Winter Sun, while maybe not winning back everyone that has left the flock over the years, has shown that they are making quality music of the symphonic melodith that we've always loved them for. 6 tracks, 48 minutes, 2 of them being instrumentals, which I can see some people checking out for. The 4 true Winter Sun tracks on this album are everything that you love the band for. It may not be the most mesmerizing, genre-changing, life-defying moments of Winter Sun, but it is exceptionally well made, excellent production, and Yari does know how to make arrangements and dynamics like no one else. I'm gracious to have gotten a promo copy to be able to check out this album. I will say for now, I do appreciate that Winter Sun is back, and just back to making music again, and I really hope that that will continue in the future. Now, starting off with the albums I missed, starting with Against the Seasons with If the Oceans Could Sing. This is a brand new discovery for me, and I missed it by almost 3 months. That's why the section is called What I Missed. Anyways, this is a one-man Polish band that blends two of my favorite bands together, Eglock and Woods of Ypres. This is everything I love about the atmospheric, folky, and blackened sides of Eglock mixing with the haunting, doomy, and occasionally blackened sides of Woods melded together to create an album that feels like it was written for me. There's not a lot of bands attempting this genre, so I appreciate it when a band does. And I also do appreciate that there is an Eglock and Woods cover on here as well, mixed in with the original music, so you can really see where the influences come from. But it fits together so very, very well, and if you love Eglock and Woods as much as I do, you're doing yourself a disservice by going any longer without checking this one out. Up next, I have Dampf with No Angels Alive. This sophomore album from this supergroup is just a perfect approach to modern metal, power rock, goth rock, and a lot of the bands that decided to become from a symphonic band into that modern metal sound. Although this is done with another key exception that you don't hear from a lot of other bands, authenticity. This was their idea from the beginning, and it just fits so perfectly. Even when it gets faster, whether it gets slower, it feels like they really know what they're doing here, but of course their bread and butter is the tempo stompers of that mid-level section. Just those stadium anthems that just fit so perfectly with their sound. And if you like a modern metal approach from people who have come from so many great power metal, symphonic metal, and goth bands, you need to give this one a shot and see how authenticity truly matters. Next up is Eye Eater with Alienate. This is a debut album from a New Zealand band that really feels like if the Contortionist stuck with Exoplanet rather than expanding the more proggy side that they started to do with albums like Language, even though there's still some moments that really do still have that sound, but really focusing in on that progressive deathcore sound. And I know a lot of people would be clamoring for something like that. Of course, it does get into proggy moments, it gets into more subdued and mellow moments as well, but the heavy sections are some of the most brutal sections you're gonna hear in this kind of genre in 2024. Of course, this won't be for everyone, but if you do find this combination of chocolate and peanut butter to be amazing like I do, and you enjoy the likes of the Contortionist and Between the Buried and Me, and the more dynamic sides that deathcore bands are starting to do as of late, you're gonna love Eye Eater. Check them out now before they explode. Next up, we have Jairus Johnson with Dragonborn, and I'm still trying to wrap my mind around this album. With all of the imagery this album brings, you would imagine this to be something like a power metal album or a folk metal album, and you kinda get that, but it's to a very, very small degree. This album is layered in modern hard rock, modern metal, experimental moments, industrial, modern electronic. It's a very strange album to someone like myself, but for others, they are clamoring all over this thing. In fact, the track that I have for the Spotify playlist for this week has over 20 million listens already, which I think says a lot. This must be a TikTok fascination. But with all that said, it is so cool to see the imagery going on here, going into more experimental yet somehow mainstream styles. If you want something that's very left of center of the normal metal and rock that you listen to, give this album a shot. Next is Nile with The Underworld Awaits Us All. And let's just be honest, Nile is gonna Nile. They're back with the most Nile sounding album yet. I mean, this is the brutal death metal, technical death metal that you expect from the band. And of course with all the Egyptian tropes that you would expect. But, especially in their post-Dallas era, there is such a proficiency to the band that really showcases how great the band truly, truly is. They know how to get brutal, they know how to get technical, they know how to write, they know how to arrange, and excellent production surrounding all of it makes this one of the most satisfying Nile listens of the 21st century. And I don't say that lightly. Seriously, check this one out if you want to see how the soul of Nile has improved. And finally today we end with Octoploid, with Beyond the Aeons. This is a brand new entity featuring past and present members of Amorphis, basically doing early to middle era Amorphis. This features such great melodeath, but it really gets psychedelic and experimental and progressive in just the right moments. So I know this won't be for everyone that enjoys the middle era of Amorphis, but if you enjoy it like I do, you're gonna find something to appreciate here. And of course, you're gonna find some guest appearances from past and present members of Amorphous, Swallow the Sun, Barren Earth, and so much more. If you like your Amorphous, experimental, progressive, and especially psychedelic, you're gonna find something to appreciate about this album. Of course, it's rich and layered in melodeath, but it's nice to have things go left of center once in a while. Seriously, give this one a shot. And there you go, folks, another 11 albums down, and everything that I covered this week, August 30th, 2024, for Out Today and What I Missed. 5 out today, 6 I missed along the way. So what do you think? Did I pick out some good albums? Were there some bad albums? Anything you want to check out? Anything you're going to steer clear of? What did I miss? Let me know all of this down below. And of course, like, comment, share, subscribe, and all of that good stuff. Make sure to come back in a couple days where I'll be doing my compilation of every album that I checked out in August 2024, all 60 albums that I've checked out. And of course, come back next week when we cover the first Friday of September for Out Today and What I Missed for September 6th, 2024. But until then, for the Heavy Debriefings YouTube channel, this is Josh Runquist saying, embrace the skullet.